All right, let's just dive right in. Today, we're going to decode the subtle and, let's be honest, often invisible tactics of manipulative people. And to do that, we're leaning on Dr. George K. Simon's fantastic book, In Sheep's Clothing. It basically gives us the playbook to finally understand and push back against these behaviors.
You know that feeling, right? You walk away from a talk, and you're not exactly angry. You're just wiped out, confused. You kind of feel like you got hit by a bus, but you can't point to a single moment it happened. Well, that feeling, that's not an accident. It's a symptom that you were just in a fight you didn't even know was happening.
This quote from the book just hits the nail on the head. You try to bring up a problem, and somehow, literally within minutes, you're the one saying sorry. All of a sudden, you're on the back foot, defending yourself. This isn't just bad luck, it's a very specific pattern. And just seeing it is the first crucial step to breaking free.
So the big question is, why are we so susceptible to this stuff? Well, it turns out the mental framework most of us use to understand people is, frankly, just not equipped to handle manipulators. It's flawed.
I mean, think about it. For what feels like forever, pop psychology has drilled this idea into us that people who act out are really just hurting deep down inside. We've been trained to assume their aggression is just a defense mechanism, a cry for help that's born from some hidden fear or insecurity.
The classic textbook definition of a neurotic personality is someone who feels too much. They're overly inhibited, they feel way too much guilt or shame. The problem is, we tend to slap this label on pretty much everyone, assuming that even the most aggressive people are just, secretly scared underneath it all.
And here's where that gets really dangerous. Our go-to move is to offer empathy, to try and soothe their pain. But our compassion becomes the very weapon they use against us, because we're dealing with someone who isn't hurting, they're fighting. It's like we're trying to put a Band-Aid on a drawn sword.
And this brings us to the core aha moment of Dr. Simon's work. It requires a total paradigm shift, a whole new way of looking at a very different kind of personality.
And this is the absolute key difference. On one side, you've got the neurotic person. They're anxious, their conscience is in overdrive, and they hate conflict. We think we're dealing with them. But on the other side, you have the character-disordered person. They have low anxiety, a seriously underdeveloped conscience, and they actually seek out conflict as a way to win. It's not that they have too much conscience. They have way, way too little.
So what does character-disordered really mean? Well, the key phrases here are lacks self-restraint and underdeveloped conscience. These people aren't held back by guilt. They're not worried about your feelings. Their main driver is simply getting what they want, whatever it takes.
And this is their favorite weapon. Now, it's so important to get this. Covert aggression is not the same as passive aggression. This isn't about giving someone the silent treatment. No, this is an active, calculated fight. It's waged in a sneaky way that lets the aggressor look totally innocent while they're busy gaining the upper hand.
Okay, so we've identified the type of player we're up against. Now, let's open up their playbook and look at the exact tactics they use to make sure they always come out on top.
First up, a true classic, guilt tripping. This move is devastating against good, conscientious people. The manipulator literally takes your own desire to be a good person and turns it into a weapon. They frame what they want in a way that makes you feel like a selfish, terrible person if you even think about saying no.
Here's a perfect real-world example from the book. A wife suggests counseling. A totally reasonable idea, right? Her husband's immediate response is to reframe it as a personal attack. So, what, you think I'm crazy? And just like that, she's the one who's done something wrong. She feels guilty, she backs down, and boom, he wins. It's subtle, but it is so effective. Next up, we have rationalization. Now, this isn't just any old excuse. It's a carefully crafted excuse that sounds just logical enough. It's that plausible reason for their bad behavior that makes you pause and think, wait a minute, maybe I'm the one overreacting here? It's designed specifically to make you doubt your own gut.
Tactic number 3 is a big one because it hijacks our natural empathy. Playing the victim. By painting themselves as the one who's been wronged or is suffering, the manipulator just flips the whole script. You might have come to them with a legitimate issue, but now you're the one who has to console them. It makes holding them accountable basically impossible.
And this can get taken to some pretty shocking extremes. In one story from the book, a man named Bill's overdose wasn't a genuine cry for help. It was a performance. It was a calculated move that instantly turned his wife's totally reasonable need for space into this horrible act of abandonment. He became the victim, she felt immense guilt, and he got what he wanted.
he won that battle, and she lost a bit of herself in the process.
So, after hearing all this, it's easy to feel a little hopeless, but you're not. The key isn't trying to change them, it's about changing the way you play the game.
This is probably the most empowering idea in the entire book. Just stop. Stop trying to get them to see your side. Stop trying to fix them. The one and only thing you have total control over is your own behavior. And when you change how you act, you change the entire game. So this gives us a brand new playbook, our own playbook, and it's so powerful. First, accept no excuses. Harmful is harmful, period. Second, judge their actions, not their intentions. Pay attention to what they do, not the story they tell you about why they did it. Third, and this is all about you, set your own personal limits. Decide what you will and will not put up with. And finally, be direct. Say what you want, clearly, so there's no wiggle room for them to twist your words.
And this quote from someone in the book just shows you what that looks like in real life. It's not about winning every argument. It's about recognizing which fights aren't even worth your energy. It's about knowing when to just let it go. There's such an incredible sense of freedom when you realize you don't have to show up for every battle they invite you to.
Okay, so let's boil all of this down to the single most important takeaway you should walk away with.
If you remember one thing, let it be this. A manipulator's power only works as long as their tactics stay in the dark. The game is only effective when you don't know you're playing. But the moment you learn to see the moves, the guilt trip, the victim card, the rationalizations, you're not an unwitting pawn anymore. You can see the whole chessboard, and you can simply choose to walk away from the game.
And that's really the question I want to leave you with. This isn't just some abstract theory. It's a practical lens you can use. So when you look at your own life, your own interactions, now that you can see the playbook, who do you see playing the game? Because just recognizing it, that's the first and most powerful step you can possibly take.